Welcome to Celebrate a Sister podcast. I'm your host, Emma Walkinshaw. I'm a transformational coach. I'm also the founder of Embody Me program and the creator of 21 Minutes of Morning Magic. You may also find me on the yoga mat leading yoga sessions and also running retreats here in Australia and internationally. Here on the podcast, I bring you some pretty incredible guests. We talk all things self-belief, body acceptance, personal development, outdated beauty standards, and we also call BS on the toxic diet culture, accepting the beautiful bodies we were born into, letting go of all the beliefs, and raising our self-awareness. I also come to you from time to time with a little solo episode, a little Life According to Emma moment. I'm so glad you're here. Enjoy. A big warm welcome to this week's podcast of Celebrate a Sister. Today I am joined by Fiona Cossill, who is a business coach and a yoga teacher. And right now, I wish you could see where we are. I know that this is a podcast, but Fiona and I are sitting in India. Can you believe I just said that? In India, in Rishikesh, by Mother Ganga, the Ganges. We're looking at this beautiful azure blue colour. There's little beaches. That really surprised Fiona, actually. She just said to me, look at all these little beaches and there's people everywhere. Big warm welcome, Fiona.
Thank you so much.
I am so happy you said yes to coming on the Celebrate a Sister podcast. And just like the title, it is about celebrating other women. And you as a yogi and a business coach, you support people all the time. But during our time together here in India on the Wholehearted Retreat, we have been doing some personal development workshops as well as yoga, and we've had some incredible experiences, and I'm sure it will unfold as we talk through this podcast. But I want to start by asking you, how did you find the workshop? We did a workshop called Body Beautiful, and we talked about our body story. Can you share with our listeners as a woman, what your relationship with your body has been like through the journey of being a woman? How has that been for you? It's a big question, I know.
It is a big question. When I first knew you were doing these workshops, and sort of having known you for a while and looked at the workshops, I don't need that. I'm fine. I don't need that. And then actually doing the workshop, it really opened my eyes. So my journey has been that of losing my mother at the age of 10 and going to live with my auntie, which I'm eternally grateful for. But my cousins were all skinny and I was sort of a plump one. And so I always felt, and although I can't actually remember the words, I always felt like I was the fat one, and that there was judgment there or pressure there on me that I wasn't as skinny as the others. And I've only just realised recently that I've sort of carried that all the way through. Like I'm 58. So I've carried that through all those years, just that underlying silent sort of belief that just sits there and has influenced my decisions, my feelings about myself all my life. And it's only really now having, coming through those wonderful menopause years where you aren't completely in control of your body anymore and coming to grips with that I've realised how influenced I think I have been by those comments that weren't malicious in any way, shape or form, but it's set in me and I've chosen to take that with me.
Yeah. This is the thing that's interesting. And I shared in the workshop, as you know, that when I was a little girl, my nickname was Miss Piggy. Yeah. And when I shared that in the workshop, everyone went, oh, how terrible. My uncle named me Miss Piggy. And as I went to share about that nickname Miss Piggy, because it was a nickname given about my body, and I straight away took that on, like you almost did, thinking I'm the plump one, my cousins are thin, not quite sure what was said, but a belief gets implanted in us. And with the Miss Piggy, I then had the belief that I was a little pig and I was Miss Piggy. And it wasn't until later years when I questioned about this nickname and said to my auntie, why was I called Miss Piggy? Like, that was a really mean nickname. She said, oh no, because you had pigtails and used to flick your hair all the time. But to a child, and like you say, there might have been just one little subtle thing said to you once, perhaps about your body, but it may not have been the intention. However, what was the theme of the workshop? A thought I keep thinking becomes a belief, or a belief is a thought I keep thinking. But these beliefs get put in. And this is the thing around it. It's like a little silent torture, as we know, that just, like you said, gnaws at you and becomes an underlying, what is theme maybe not the right word, but an underlying belief that we have about ourselves that is so silent. We forget to challenge it. We just keep carrying it with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the power of those in this, small things, and I think that, having come through that workshop with you, I am absolutely amazed at the awareness and the power that those little things have. It's scary.
Yeah,
it's scary how those small things can affect you for year after year, decade after decade, and then the decisions you make around that without even realizing, in so many areas of your life.
Yeah.
Wow. It's really opened my eyes.
And I feel too, in the workshop, we all had a realization that your story is my story, and particularly Fiona, the freckles. You and I both had a realization. So one of the beautiful women in the workshop shared about her journey about being young and being called freckle face. And then you went, oh, I've got the freckle story. And I went, oh my gosh, I've got the freckle story. But at some point, in our childhood, I clearly remember disliking my freckles because someone commented, and then you had that memory too.
Yeah, I thought, I thought I'd realised enough, and then that got thrown at me, and I was going, I've forgotten all about my freckles. I remember having a school photo taken, I must have been 7 or 8, and it just looked like I'd been splattered with mud, and probably embedded a bit of a yuck belief. Yuck, yes. Look at me. But yeah, I'd forgotten that, so that was lovely. It brought up things I'd forgotten. The red hair. I was red-haired as a kid. Not that I feel like that's affected me, because I think as you get older, people love people with red hair because they go, oh, look at the colour of your hair. Yes. But as a kid, you were different.
Yeah.
And I think the layers of difference, and this was a big realisation, feeling different having my mother die was already there. And then the differences of the freckles, the red hair, which I'd forgotten about, but then the differences of the weight, just being plump and the cousins were skinny. I think it had more of an impact than I ever realised. And that it's a good thing. It's a good thing to become aware of that, because then you can deal with it. Otherwise it just becomes an ongoing thing.
Because we do just want to fit in. At the base, we want to feel like we belong, and we want to feel like we fit in. And I feel growing up in the 70s, I'm sure you'll agree with this, we have been shown one kind of woman for way too long. And I would like to say things are progressing forward and we are having body inclusivity. However, I feel like there's a bit of regression too, because when I look around at women that are perhaps, those of you listening will all know a group of young girls who'll do the lips, the eyelashes, the cheeks, and it's trying to look the same. Whereas I feel we have to celebrate our uniqueness, our freckles and our whatever colour our hair is and the shape and the size of us. But often we're all striving to fit in, and then we want to change ourselves to look like the next person, but that's not the goal.
No.
I feel, I think that's part of my message, is saying let's celebrate ourselves. And I did share a statistic that I do want to share with our listeners, because even like you said, Fiona, I don't think I need this workshop. And then we get into it, you go, oh goodness, because we're carrying this silent, everyone has a cross to bear, I always say, or I've heard that, I should say. And, we've all got something and we're not sure. And there's, in my experience working with women, and statistics say that women over 50, so think about the women that that are over 50, 88% of them are dissatisfied with their appearance. So when we think about that, our friends, let's say we've got 10 friends, and on this retreat is an example of that. What is there? 13 of us. And if you do statistics of that, I'm not very good at maths, but is that like, are we going to say 8 or 9 of us are dissatisfied
at least,
with our body?
Mm-hmm.
So also what happened in our workshop too was people seeing in other people, I didn't even know that that's how you felt. And we've heard this saying 1,000 times, you never know what someone's going through. But when someone is often, and gosh, this has been me, beating myself up and thinking I'm just not good enough and don't look acceptable, and the list goes on, someone else in your immediate circle is potentially feeling the same, and you would look at them and say it's just not true. So it's really calling BS on, I don't want to say it's beauty standards, but it's unhooking these beliefs that we perhaps put in as kids, and it's time to let them go. In the 88% of women over 50 who felt they were dissatisfied, 71% of them are actively trying to lose weight. I would love to say that I am not in that 71%, but gee, I battle with it. How about you? Where do you sit in that actively trying to lose weight? And there is I guess there is a healthy and there is an unhealthy side to this. What are your thoughts?
Oh gosh, I think I'm 10 out of 10 at that. If I excel at anything, I excel at constantly trying to lose weight. It's always in my dialogue. It's always in my routine. I've got to drop that 3 or 4 kilos, and it's not. I've been reasonably disciplined all through my life because I put on weight quite easily, because being the chubby kid. And then I could lose it, but a lot of attention to that and a lot of commitment to do that. And then before long, my patterns just creep back in again. Yeah. So you mentioned something at the workshop early on about dieting has given me disordered eating, not an eating disorder. Yeah. So I've never been an eating disorder, but I have certainly had disordered eating for a long, long time. And another thing you mentioned at the workshop was, you're just confused. Yeah. And I literally a couple of years ago joined a gym, put on weight, quite a bit of weight through over COVID and through menopause, side effects, and mainly the way I was thinking. And I went into the gym and I said, I am just confused. Yeah. I am completely confused after trying everything under the sun, or just years of just trying to yo-yo, lose it back on, lose it back on, lose it back on. I always had sort of an upper limit that I held myself to, and got to that point and then went, right, I'm out of here, lose it, but just keep finding myself back. I never found that balance. And the thing I torture myself over, it's a terrible thing to say, but I think I'm a smart woman, reasonably smart, I've gotten this far. Can I balance out my eating? Can I just get it stable and deal with the ups and downs of weight on, weight off? No, 58, haven't worked it out yet. There's a lot going on underneath it. Yeah. Underneath the dieting, it's not the diets, it's what's going on underneath it. And that's exactly the work that you're doing to help us uncover, because that's the answer.
It is, isn't it? And it's not the easy way. It's so much easier to deprive ourselves, starve ourselves, try and fix ourselves, than do the other work.
Absolutely.
Which is a process. However, I know part of the work for you is yoga.
Absolutely.
Can you share with us about your journey with yoga and how you feel that is potentially building a better relationship with your body? What's been your journey with yoga and your body?
Wow, it's a really good question. I think I'm just starting to delve into that side, but certainly the self-love is massive with yoga. The looking inwards, the facing yourself, sitting with yourself, delving into those beliefs. That is a massive part of yoga. So it's been part of that journey in that aspect, but only sort of now, since diving into this with you, I can see the importance of the self-love side even more, for that feeling worthy, feeling loved, feeling accepted, feeling enough.
Yeah.
That's been a bit of a theme for me for the last couple of years. And now I can see how appropriate it is for the body acceptance. And that's that kind of self-love through yoga practices. Because at the essence of yoga is we are whole. There is nothing to fix. We are perfectly imperfect. We're okay just as we are. But jeepers, that's hard to accept, because we've spent years believing the opposite.
That's why I feel yoga is the key, because we have to get into the body. And this morning, so Fiona and I this morning have had, I think we might cry when we talk about this. It's been a pretty incredible, and I want to share with what happened to me this morning. Even though Fiona and I are in practice together, we got up at stupid o'clock. What was it? 3:30.
Had a 3 in it.
Yeah, it had a 3 in
really
it.
Bad.
Yeah. And then we made our way over to the yoga festival, the International Yoga Festival here in Rishikesh, and we found our way to a morning practice. And then after that, we found our way along the Ganges, and we were practicing with an incredible woman. I can't remember her name. What's her name? I'm probably going to have to put it in the show notes, actually.
I think put it in the notes, because it's like 3 big words, and she was just,
yeah, she was incredible. So we're practicing. I don't even know how many people were there, but it was a lot. And the joy was quite electric. And we were doing some yoga, which is Kundalini. So that is a certain type of yoga. And there was a certain posture that we had to, was suggested to us to do, which is all around hip movements. And we also on this journey have done a Bollywood dance.
Yes.
And I feel for the divine feminine and getting into the body. And we've done a lot of hip work, it would be fair to say.
I almost thought she was going to, I thought, we're going to nail this. We've done the Bollywood dancing. This is going to be easy.
Yes, I thought the same thing. I thought, this is memory.
We can do this.
So we started to do this posture where we moved our hips, and I'm currently working on new thought patterns around my body. And here in India, Yogi Louie and I, last week's podcast, I shared that we're changing our name. Yogi Louie Shakti and I'm Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is this voluptuous woman. So while I was by the Ganges this morning, moving my hips, I had this thought, I am Lakshmi. I am whole. I am enough. So much energy has been wasted thinking that this body is enough. Are you kidding me? I'm on the side of the Ganges right now. This body, there is nothing wrong with her. She is here moving her hips in this glorious moment with my fellow yogis, you and the women with me. And it was such a moment of freedom. I do get glimpses of freedom through yoga and my body, because for many years it's been no freedom in my body. It's been restriction, it's been dieting, it's been never enough. And then all of the sudden, now I'm saying, hang on, new thought pattern, this body is actually enough. Lakshmi is here to stay and she's free. Yes. So I feel yoga's great for us to get in our body.
Yeah.
And that beautiful self-love practice and that self-care through yoga.
And what about the wobble? we had to jump. She when I think about it, you need her on your podcast.
Absolutely.
She gave us permission to jump up and down and wobble. Now, when do we ever give ourselves permission to wobble? We're holding things in, we're tightening things up, we're strapping things in. We don't like the wobble, but we got to jump up and down. She gave us permission. We then gave ourselves permission to wobble. That was just amazing. I love that. And everything did wobble.
It was fun. It was so wonderful, but very, very joyful. Now, Fiona, I want to ask now, I know that we're not all the way through the trip, but can I ask? It's another question, which I know it's going to be probably tricky for you to answer. Has there been a highlight on the Wholehearted Retreat with Yogi Louie and I? Has there been anything thus far? Well, there's many things I know, but has there been what has touched your heart this trip?
This podcast isn't long enough.
I know.
There's so much. Each area. I look for the good in everything anyway. Like I just look for the beauty. I look for the joy. I look for the experience and how it makes me feel. And everywhere we've been, Delhi, going to the Mother Teresa house, the Gandhi footsteps that touched my heart. Agra, the Taj Mahal. I mean, I know it's almost a cliche. Everyone goes to the Taj Mahal, but I know now why everyone goes to the Taj Mahal. It was wow, jaw-dropping, instant jaw-dropping the minute you saw it shimmer and then come into focus as you walk through that archway. Just the majesty. It's almost like it pulses with its own beauty and energy. And that was a wow moment. Jaipur, the hotel we stayed in, we renamed it the Exotic Lotus Hotel, and we're all moving there.
It was divine, wasn't it? Just
colour and brightness and vibrancy. And then Rishikesh was very, very high on my list. And this morning, so much overwhelm of emotion and love being here, and just the practices we did, the women we were with, the strangers we were with.
Yes.
The location, it's just India has way surpassed my expectation. And what you've shown us on this retreat tour is just not enough. Like it's like, I want more. I want more of this. It's been a voluptuous introduction.
Great word.
To India. And it's been a voluptuous introduction to ourselves.
Oh, so beautiful.
The women that we're with that have been drawn to this journey, this divine appointment, as you so beautifully put it. I've learned so much from them and seen them, and they've seen me, and that's just been wow, that's been next level.
And what about the misconceptions of India? Because there are many. Has there been one misconception that you've gone, I didn't expect that. I thought that it would be the contrary?
I think the thing that's really resonated with me is what Niraj has told us, our tour guide, our protector, our everything, is that everything in India has a meaning. And I think if you came, like, my husband and I do lots of travel, and we do a lot of individual travel. Like, we're not really tour people. We'll jump on a scooter and off we go and explore and have some amazing experiences. But I think learning from Niraj about what has the meaning behind everything in India, you'd miss that without that local sort of knowledge. And that has been very powerful, learning about that. And I think that's given the whole experience so much more depth. Is learning about the meaning. Everything's got meaning. Everything. There's a meaning, a story, a spiritual meaning behind so much. And his eyes have been, to see it through his eyes, he's such a special man. His belief and love for his country. I just wish we could take some of that back to Australia and be so proud of the country that we live in and look at the positives. And he's been amazing to open my eyes to the real India. Yeah,
he is a very proud man, isn't he? Which has been just tremendous, just that pride and that happiness. And it's been, he does really bring, like you said, a richness to it.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. That you'd miss out on if you were just like we do, travel around on your own and just get, you have local experiences, but that information has really been something that surprised me about India. So something that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, tremendous. Now, Fiona, for our ladies listening, do you have any words that you'd like to share with women when it comes to yoga, self-acceptance, taking themselves to India, if not with us, taking a journey to India? What's your parting little message you'd like to share?
Wow, there's so much. I think there's a couple of things, if I'm okay to do two.
Yes, please.
One is listen to that whisper. Look, I had a whisper about yoga. I've been doing yoga for 12 years now. And I had a whisper about yoga for a couple of years before I actually even tried it. And it was just that, we all want, just tell me what to do, what's good for me, what's my path, what's going to get me where I want to be, just tell me and I'll do it, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that way, does it? So there's a whisper inside us all. And for me, yoga was a whisper. And And then it appeared, the perfect person, the perfect yoga teacher and Madonna appeared for me, and off I've gone on this amazing journey. And India has been a whisper, especially as my yoga journey has deepened and I moved into yoga teaching and learned so much more about the philosophy and what yoga really is. And so India's been a whisper, and there were a couple of opportunities sort of popped up and didn't sit, you know, timing wasn't right and all this, but that whisper was there. So when the opportunity came up with you guys, it was like the perfect time. And then the other whisper has been Rishikesh, and that's just exploded inside me, being here with joy of being here. It's sort of like the icing on the cake for me. Yoga, Rishikesh, the people, the festival, the everywhere you look is yoga. And that's just, it's been perfect way to spend our last few days on this amazing experience that you've provided us.
I love that. Listen to that little whisper.
Sorry, the second one was the one I've got from the body, you know, body acceptance and all the work that you've brought into my awareness through the workshop was heal yourself. Okay, my advice is heal yourself. We look outside, we look for the diet, we compare, we look at what other people think of us. We're looking externally, we look in the mirror and go, I'm not happy. And I've even heard it on the tour. You know, women will come out and go, oh, I feel so frumpy in this. And you know what? They look beautiful. They look absolutely beautiful. And what I've learned, the big thing I've learned, even in the last week, is heal yourself. The answers are within. And if you want to heal yourself, if you want to get through this and have that acceptance, look within and heal yourself. Stop looking outside. Because that's not going to do it. I agree. Go within. Whether it's yoga, it's a perfect vehicle for that. But heal yourself. Stop looking outside for the answers.
That's a great point. Stop looking outside of yourself for the answers. And yoga is a perfect vehicle. It doesn't mean it's the only vehicle, but if you are in this place of exploring, how can I build a better relationship with myself and my body, try yoga. And again, back to misconceptions, like India, like yoga. When we seek to understand, we know more. And then we can and keep taking those steps forward, because often there are misconceptions around yoga, around India, everything in our life. But it is a great vehicle to start to, because self-care and self-love isn't just a bubble bath and it isn't a massage. It's actually the deep work. It's actually starting to do that. And, you know, I always say I'm a life coach. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a psychologist. They have a wonderful place. I do believe through yoga you can keep looking forward and moving forward. I do believe through coaching you can keep looking forward, and there can be healing and transformation in that. It isn't all about looking backwards and undoing. It's like, where am I at right now and what needs to be healed now?
And I think the juiciness of life is the seeking.
Yes.
Whether it's seeking to, you know, to have a better life, whatever that might mean for you, meaningful, seeking to, you know, your body image, seeking to heal the past, things that have happened. Yoga is a journey of seeking, because so much comes out when you start to seek more information about yoga and you start to feel yoga and you want to know more. And India is for seekers. It's the perfect combination.
And in that seeking, we have moments of peace and contentment, which is beautiful, because we're deeply connected to ourselves. We're listening to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Oh, Fiona, thank you, my love. Oh, it has been so beautiful, this journey with you. There's just been so many highlights and so many laughs.
Oh, it's been laughter, tears, joy. It's just been everything. Awe and wonder.
Yes,
it's been a journey of awe and wonder.
It has.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So for all the beautiful ladies listening, if you are interested in the Wholehearted Retreat, Yogi Lou and I have one in November 2025, March 2026. So dates will be released. Pop your name on the wait list and we will be in touch very, very soon with more information. But Wholehearted Retreat returns to India in 2025 and 2026, and I hope you can join me. Thanks, everyone.